Welcome one and all to Nerd Central. I'm your host Tyrell Childress, and without further ado, let's kick it to the news.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
After years in the animated world, Ahsoka has completed her very first live-action adventure, with the final episode of Season 1 releasing on October 4th. Played by Rosario Dawson, Ahsoka's transition to live-action was a long one, as she re-teams with friends including Natasha Liu Bordizzo playing Sabine Wren and Amon Estefandi playing Ezra Bridger, as they team up to fight foes across the galaxy. One question we had here at Nerd Central though is, will there be a Season 2? Well, with some digging, as of right now, Ahsoka has not been renewed for a second season. That being said, Rosario Dawson has expressed she's manifesting the story to continue.
I'm gonna keep on manifesting because I want a second season.
Keep doing it,
I want a
girl.
second season, like I do. Like I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm just saying, even with this show, I want more.
Now, speculation of why we don't know about the second season could be because of Filoni's upcoming film covering both Ahsoka and The Mandalorian. We finally get to check into one of the most anticipated animated series, Has Been Hotel. With a teaser being dropped last week, we get a look into the insane world of hell and how Charlie and her crew work to help sinners repent and get them into heaven. After years of hard work in collaborating with A24 and Bento Box Entertainment, the series has been green-lit for not one, but 2 seasons. Now, with no time to waste, let's get into this week's pack. First, Brianna with Rumor Has It, followed by Kaden with Film Fun.
Social media has been a massive part of my generation, and for some, it has completely changed their lives, from being just a regular person to one of the biggest names on social media. We will be stepping into the limelight with a certain TikTok influencer who knows how one post can change your whole life. Alex Earl has become one of the fastest growing creators on the app, ranking up more than 8.8 million TikTok followers to date. She's also the new face of a longtime fan favorite beauty trend, the Get Ready With Me videos. She began posting on TikTok in her college apartment where she graduated from the University of Miami back in spring of 2023. And just like that, Earl became the queen of TikTok. Her videos quickly went from getting ready for college tailgates and classes to higher profile events.
Get ready with me for a tailgate at the University of Miami. Our tailgate is at 9 a.m.
Get ready with us for the Barbie movie premiere.
We're reunited!
Despite her growing fame, viewers still praise Earl for her relatable personality and down-to-earth lifestyle. Just a day after rubbing elbows with Miley Cyrus at the New Year's Eve party in Miami that Cyrus was hosting, Earl posted a room tour video of her disorganized college apartment.
Good morning, 2023. I'm gonna ring in the new year with a little room tour. Starting off, we have flowers that died like 2 months ago.
On September 24th, the Dolphins and Broncos played at the Hard Rock Stadium, where Earl was spotted wearing wide receivers Braxton Berrios' number 0 jersey. After the game, the two were spotted hugging on the sidelines as the Dolphins took home the win 70-20.
You may or may not see me at some Dolphins games.
Just wait, I have some more tea to spill. Recently, Alex Cooper has dropped her 4th season of Call Her Daddy podcast on Spotify, and the first episode features Earl. During the interview, Earl opened up about how fast her life has changed since posting videos on TikTok, her father's affair, and a look into her childhood.
The hardest life lesson I think I've had to learn has been around jealousy and fake maybe friends, fake people in your life, especially recently over the past year with things happening.
Later on in the interview, it was announced that Alex Earl is starting her own podcast called Hot Mess, and it'll be produced by Alex Cooper's Unwell Network. The podcast gives a glimpse into her life beyond the glamorous lifestyle, post-college life, and the struggles she has faced in her early adult life. New episodes of Hot Mess will air every Thursday on Spotify.
So imagine freshman year of college, one of these girls you just meet in the first few weeks becomes your school mascot, okay? She's walking around campus and we know.
That is all the time that we have for this week's episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on what kind of tea you want spilled right here on Rumor Has It.
Hello everyone, my name is Caden Patrick and welcome back to Film Finds. I'll be reviewing films and their Easter eggs as well as details you may have missed. Today's film would be Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. This movie came out in August of 2010 and currently has a 7.5 on IMDb and an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Surprisingly, Scott Pilgrim only grossed a total of $49.3 million in box office sales when it had a budget of $85 million. But since its release, the movie and the comic book series has gained a massive following and has become a favorite for many, including me. Matter of fact, the series has gained such popularity that it will be getting its own anime series called Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. All of the main cast will be coming back to reprise their roles. The first episode will be airing on Netflix on November 17th. But for now, let's talk about the film and get to the finds. And as usual, spoilers ahead. The first detail is when Scott meets Ramona at the party. Ramona is standing off to the side watching the party when Scott sidesteps in the frame to talk to her. Just off to the left side of the screen, there is a light switch at a weird height. At first, there isn't a real reason for the light switch being that high. Just a part of the set design is all. Then, Michael Cera, the actor for Scott Pilgrim, said that the light switch is a representation of how Ramona is out of Scott's reach. From the moment Scott sees Ramona in the library, he has his eyes set on her. Ramona, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, doesn't show much interest and even gives Scott a cold shoulder. But, as the movie progresses, Ramona falls within Scott's reach and falls in love with him. This next detail is about Ramona herself. After Scott fights and defeats her second evil ex, Lucas Lee, who's played by Chris Evans, she disappears. After Scott's several attempts to call her, she turns up the next day in the coffee shop that Scott is at and mentions that she has a tendency to disappear. She also mentions this at the end of the movie after Scott has defeated all her exes in a version of himself. To me, this makes Ramona such a relatable character because running from feelings and problems can be much easier than facing them head on. This also shows that she's human and not perfect. Now I want to talk about my personal favorite ex that Scott has to fight, Todd. The lead up to the fight and the fight itself are visually pleasing and fits the story very well. Todd, played by Brendan Ruth, is Ramona's third ex and the person Envy cheated on Scott with. Todd uses his powers that he's gained from being vegan because...
Short answer, being vegan just makes you better than most people.
Bingo.
At the end of the fight, Scott apologizes to Envy, played by Brie Larson, for defeating Todd and calls her Natalie, to which she says no one calls her that anymore. Envy is practically changed into a new person, just to fit the persona of Envy, and no one knows the real her anymore, but Scott. Last up is Scott's personal growth by the end of the movie. He gains a second life during his final battle and learns to value and respect himself.
Scott earned the power of self-respect.
Scott even has a battle with a version of himself. That ends with him coming out of the building having befriended him and planning out a brunch together. He grows and apologizes to both Knives, played by Ellen Wong, and Ramona for lying to both of them and shows genuine growth as a person rather than having his actions excused and ignored. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a wonderful movie with pleasing visuals and incredible attention to detail. I've genuinely lost count of how many times I've rewatched this movie, yet each time I notice something new because of how much has been jam-packed into an hour and 52 minutes. Now that wraps up this episode of Film Finds, and I really hope you enjoyed. Once again, my name is Caden Patrick, and I hope to see you again in the next episode.
What many viewers may not realize about reality TV is that a lot of aspects are controlled by the production team. Like in Survivor, they create roles and narratives and control even the clothing that they wear. However, to motivate players, one reward from Survivor's classic challenges is something you wouldn't expect. Think you're a nerd? Leave your guess in the comments below.
Kirsten, what are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing here? Making TikToks? And it's not about what I do. It's about what we do here. So we start with storyboarding the content we want to create for our clients. It could be anyone from small businesses, nonprofits, and organizations both on campus and in the Maryville community. We write, we film, we edit, we create, and then we wait. So if you're someone who thinks you need us, we are KNWT Creative Services.
Come check out Gen 2, your favorite place for all things gaming and rarely tech-related.
What'd you say?
Oh,
that video game thing. Yeah, we have a bunch of different packs that you can check out. Make sure to check us out.
There's a huge fire, so we gotta go.
Challenges are intense, and earning a win in one is never simple. However, to motivate players even more, pizza was what the contestants were rewarded with. Sadly, according to an interview, Malcolm Fredberg and David Wright both claimed that the pizza was awful. But with them being on an island, we didn't really expect much. Now, taking a slice out of our packs, let's check out Star Wars Lore of Joe and Anime Stitch with Olivia.
My name is Joe Huber, back with another episode of Star Wars Lore. Today we will be discussing the infamous Jedi killer and cyborg, General Grievous. We will go over his history before becoming a cyborg and how he exactly became one. Originally, General Grievous was a Kaleesh male named Kaiman Hai Shalil. He grew up in a world torn by the Huk War, in which the technologically advanced Huk sought to enslave the Kaleesh people. During said war, Shalil rose up as a demigod among his people and led countless campaigns that freed his people from the Huk's grasp. During one of these battles, Shalil's best friend and possible lover died in the hands of the enemy. This drove Shalil into deep depression, causing him to change his name to Grievous. This depression transformed to hatred, which resulted in Grievous seeking to exterminate the Huk for good. Grievous started wiping out all the Huk's colony worlds. As he got closer to the Huk's homeworld, the Huk started to seek outside assistance. They reached out to the Trade Federation, convincing them that the Kaleesh were the ones who started the war in the first place. This caused the Republic to send a team of Jedi to intervene and push the Kaleesh back to their homeworld. Such actions made Grievous despise the Jedi and the Republic by which they served. Grievous' success in the early campaigns made him famous in his corner of the galaxy, thus attracting the attention of Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious then ordered his apprentice Count Dooku to acquire Grievous into their services. Count Dooku then rigged one of their shuttles to explode, causing it to crash over a body of water. Dooku then proceeded to recover Grievous' body from the crash and take him back to a Bacta tank on Geonosis. Grievous was then met with Sand Hill, the chairman of the intergalactic banking clan. Sand Hill proceeded to inform Grievous he planned to rebuild him into a vicious killing machine, capable of surpassing Jedi as well as lead the largest droid army in galactic history. Once Grievous' transformation began, Dooku had Sifo Dyas' blood transfused into Grievous. Although the rich metachlorian blood kept him alive, it did not unlock any special force sensitivity within him. Dooku also had Grievous' mind tampered with, increasing his hatred for the Jedi while also making him more compliant to his new masters. After his surgery was complete, Grievous was more machine than reptilian. Only his brain, heart, and a few other vital organs remained. The rest of him were cold, hard metal. His armor gave him the speed and reflexes of a Jedi, and the durability of an armored tank, making him a true killing machine. Once he settled into his new body, he was trained by Dooku and his Magma Guards in lightsaber combat. Grievous was then unleashed into the Clone Wars, where he would take the lives of countless Jedi, collecting their lightsabers to add to his ever-growing collection. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Star Wars Lore. I'm Joe Huber, and may the Force be with you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Anime Stitch. I'm your host, Olivia Williams, and this week we're going on a mission and talking about Spy Family. Let's get started. In Spy Family, you meet Twilight, a spy who's been sent on a mission to spy on a political leader and has to go undercover to do so, named Lloyd Forger, as well as create his own fake family. This is where you meet Yor, Lloyd's wife, and Anya, their adopted daughter, who both have secrets of their own. Because Yor is actually a very skilled assassin who's also on a mission, and Anya, an orphan who has the ability to read people's minds. And the entire anime is about their journey of being a fake family just to complete a mission that eventually turns into an actual loving family. But don't let the words spy or assassin or mission trick you up, because even though Spy Family does have a lot of serious moments, there's also a lot of funny moments as well, like when Anya tries to hide from Lloyd but ends up failing miserably, or when Yor knocks out a wild cow running down the street with her hands, and then pretending like nothing else happened, and so many more moments like that. Now, when it comes to the manga versus anime, there is one major difference I want to talk about in the manga, because this is such a key component that adds so much content to a character, and that is Lloyd's internal monologue. A very common thing you see in the manga is that Lloyd does a lot of internal thinking and explaining about different things. A good example is when Lloyd tells Anya that she has to call him father and nothing else, because that's what elites do, and he needs people to see his family as a high-class family to complete his mission. But this never shows up in the anime. But other than that one instance, the anime actually does a really good job following the manga pretty well. Now, if I had to choose between the anime or the manga, this week, I think I'm going to be calling it a tie, because I really like both of them for multiple reasons. One, the manga only has 11 volumes, and the anime only has 25 episodes, which makes both of them easy to read or watch. And, like how I stated previously, the manga and the anime are very similar when it comes to the main storyline of Spy Family, with only a few modifications to fill more time in the anime, but that's it. So for this week, I'm calling it a tie, and now it's up for you to decide which one you like. But that's all the time I have for you guys for this week on Anime Stitch. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you're ready to jump into the vampiric world of The Case Study of Vanitas next week. See you then, guys. Bye-bye!
After the break, we'll look at a wondrous world of stop motion and then step into the ring. Stay tuned.
The news that matters most is the news that hits close to home. Maryville or Bearcat news, whatever the story, we're there for you.
It could be about you, school, or your safety. Whatever it is, we got you covered.
You need to know what's going on in the Northwest Maryville community, and this is a place to find it all out.
This is our home too, and we're in this together.
We are Channel 8 News, covering for you.
Now, without further ado, we have Movie TZ looking into Coraline, then Real Recommendations battling a review with The Fighter.
Hey there, movie buffs, and welcome back to Real Recommendations, your go-to place for all things cinema. My name is Caleb McAfee, and today we're getting into a film that truly packs a punch, The Fighter. The Fighter is based on the incredible true story of Mickey Ward, a boxer from Massachusetts, portrayed by Mark Wahlberg. What's so special about this film is that it doesn't just glamorize the world of boxing. It delves deep into the struggles and sacrifices that come with the sport, and the toll it takes on Mickey's family, especially his brother, Dickie Eklund, played brilliantly by Christian Bale. Now let me tell you, Bale's performance absolutely steals the show here. His dedication to the role is mind-blowing. You'll forget you're watching Bale and start to believe you're seeing the real Dickie Eklund on screen. He's a charismatic mess battling addiction and his own demons, but you can't help but root for him. It's a performance that won Bale an Academy Award, and it is well-deserved.
That's your punch, man.
But it's not just about boxing and addiction. It's about family. The relationship between Mickey, Dickie, and their tough-as-nails mother, played by Melissa Leo, is the heart and soul of this movie. Now, what kind of review would this be if I didn't mention the incredible fight scenes? Director David O. Russell does a fantastic job of capturing the raw, gritty nature of the sport. You can practically feel every punch and beam of sweat flying off the screen. It's intense, visceral, and incredibly well choreographed. And let's not forget to mention the humor in the film. It's laced with sharp wit and moments of lightheartedness that help bring the script some balance. The script is tight, and the pacing keeps you engaged from start to finish. In conclusion, The Fighter is a knockout of a film, and I mean that in the best way possible. It's a gripping, emotionally charged story with powerhouse performances from its cast. Whether you're a fan of boxing or just great storytelling, this movie is a must-see. Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale, Melissa Leo, they all shine brightly in this gritty masterpiece. So, if you're in the mood for a film that packs an emotional punch and delivers powerful performances, The Fighter should be at the top of your watch list. Thank you for tuning in to Real Recommendations, and until next time, happy watching.
Hello and welcome to Movie Tea with me, your host, Z. With the start of October, I thought we'd get a little spooky today and discuss Coraline. The movie, directed by Henry Selick, features many differences to the book, with the biggest being the introduction of character Wybie Lovat.
Get away from me!
Let me guess, you're from Texas or Utah, someplace dried out and barren, right? I heard about water witching before, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just a norm there.
Wybie is a boy around Coraline's age who was introduced so she wouldn't have to talk to just herself. Leica Studios is a stop-motion animation studio, and Coraline was their first feature-length film, which debuted in 2009. Over 130 sets were built over 52 different stages at the studios, which span 183,000 square feet. The 52 stages were the most ever deployed for a stop-motion animated film. There were 24 puppets of our main character Coraline alone. Each one took 10 people to make it, and 3 to 4 months for it to be finished. Stop-motion is an incredibly demanding and laborious process. Nothing is put into a movie without a reason. There are many Easter eggs and hints to the true plot of the story all throughout the movie, such as in the kitchen of the other world, where there are 3 shadow portraits of children, hinting at the 3 ghost children Coraline meets who warns her about the other mother. I think Coraline is a wonderful movie. I loved it as a kid, and I love it even more as an adult. I feel like I can appreciate it more as an adult as well. I think it's a nice transition into scary movies for children, and also just a good, spooky choice for Halloween. Thank you for joining me, your host, Z, for Movie Tea. Have a great day, and watch movies!
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Nerd Central. If you liked it, give the crew a round of applause and check out our other episodes right here on KNWT TV.